Well, an engineer in London, I could quite happily hop on the tube and hit 10, 15 offices, depending on the locations. Let's say, nice easy example, somebody working in photocopy, print copy market in the city. I used to work in the city. Many of us on the call will know how close it is. It's the same in any major metropolitan city, and very easy for them to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, like you said, they could go to every single office and say, "Oh, yeah, I've turned up. Great technical utilization. I've done 15 jobs. Haven't fixed a single thing." And the entire customer base in that area is unhappy because all of the printers are still there. So that for me kind of it's a very very excellent illustration of identifying where these, what the difference is between effectiveness really and utilization. One of the things I've managed to get a reputation for in the industry is being the one person in the room full of clever people that's prepared to put my hand up and say, "Look, I know this is a stupid question, and I'm going to do that now. I should have my own show called the Kris Asks the Stupid Questions. I know this is a stupid question, but bear with me. For me, a metric that is above 100% suggests that metric is fundamentally flawed. If a technician's utilization is over 126%, then that just simply means that you're incorrectly measuring it at some point, because utilization at its very purest should be 100%. What have I missed there, Martin? Because those numbers are not uncommon. I see this a lot, and I still don't quite get that bit. So yeah, where have I got that wrong?
So the way in which they measured the utilization was based on the number of hours that the engineer actually spent on site. They didn't cap the number of hours because they paid overtime. Right. So effectively, the more hours that the engineer spent doing work, the higher the utilization, which is the reason why you could go over 100%. But I agree with you, the measure itself is complete nonsense, because it's driving the wrong behavior, it's driving the wrong outcomes, and it's actually driving the wrong things that you want to be able to deliver. Now, if you think about it in a different way, so let's go back to your example of the photocopier engineer. If you're trying to drive utilization of your engineers and you're purely focused on the reactive delivery, you're always going to sub-optimize your delivery based on the number of products that are being sold, the number of products that are failing, and the number of engineers that can physically service those products. Now, every time one of those products fails, that costs you. It costs you an awful lot more in terms of downtime for the customer and also service costs. So why not think about it in a slightly different way, which is from a proactive perspective, and actually use the engineers to proactively go around a particular patch or go around a number of particular customers and actually get them to proactively look after the customer's equipment. You can actually sell that as an incremental service. You can actually sell it as a warranty plus service, because effectively you're actually paying for an enhancement on top. That therefore means that the engineer can actually go and monitor issues before they actually occur, and therefore you can drive a different measure. You're not driving utilization, you're driving preventative measures. Now, what that means then from an engineer perspective is you actually are measuring on the fewer number of calls that the engineer is actually dealing with, not the maximum number of calls that the engineer is dealing with. Now, sometimes actually turning the measure upside down or on its head can actually drive a different conversation. Oh, I've got a failure rate of 20%. Okay, so what about, the 80% of customers that don't have a failure, for example? And it's thinking about the measures in a different way and thinking about how you can actually do things differently sometimes, which actually means that you're going to look at things in a new way and be able to think about things, that are going to help and support your business.